I've got another dishwasher to strip down. So this one I'm going to strip down to absolutely bare frame to show you all the components. So I don't know if there's anything wrong with this one because it's just been given to me. So first thing we'll do is we'll just check the diagnostics to see if there's any faults. So I'll just get the camera to zoom in. I'm going to turn it on. Now we just wait for it to light up like that, and then we press and hold those two buttons until it beeps. And then that will tell us any fault. So F with 0 lines means there's no fault. So there's nothing actually wrong with this dishwasher. That's to get into all your diagnostics as far as motors, inlet valves, things like that. That's the motor running at the moment. That'll be motor and heating element. That's the fan running. Drain pump. L15 is time fill. That's pressure sensor fill. So normally in Australia particularly, these were known for coming up with F12 faults. So all you do is just press it to get to L15 rather than changing inlet valves and all sorts of things like that, because that's not the fault. You just set it to L15 and then that's fixed. U6 is the variant code for Australia, things like that, whether it's got delay, start, all that sort of stuff. AU is Australia. Y2 is to do with the fan sequence. We'll never really touch that. R is reset. And that's it. So we'll turn it off. Okay, so I'll unplug it so I can work on it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is take the door panel off to show you all how we do that. I've shown you in other videos, but we'll just do it again. Charlie, don't mind my dog. There's someone walking past, so... Charlie, come back here. Alright, so as I've shown you before, there is 2 screws underneath that you've got to take off. And then we take the screws off around the door. There'll be 6 of those in total, as I've shown before. There's always one screw that doesn't want to come out. There we go. It's very important not to strip the head off the screw, being a torque screw, because you can't really drill them out because they're stainless steel. Next screws that come out, the 2 on the top of the door. And then of course, to get the door off, you just release the fan at the bottom. And then to get that off, I'll just give it probably a twist and a flick like this. That's the easiest way. And then that comes off like that. So that's the door off. Now in this model, there's a little sort of a light. That's what goes on the front of the control board in there. So if you don't put that back on when you put the machine back together, when you turn it on, all the lights look like they're sort of, they're not shining in the right spot. So it's not super important, but if you do happen to leave it off, it's no big deal, but that's why it's there. The other fault with this particular model was people unable to start and stop the dishwasher. The buttons wouldn't respond to touch. They tried all sorts of things to fix it. They ended up replacing door panels, all sorts of things. What I found worked for a while was to take that off and actually get a grey lead pencil and just scribble where the buttons are on both sides, put it back on, and it seemed to work, because I think it was the graphite in the lead pencil that made it work. There was just one trick that I found that seemed to work for a while. So we don't need that door panel. So again, to take the electronics off, just undo all your multi-plugs. And of course you just saw that little plastic spacer flick off, which I've talked about before. Obviously it goes in there. If you don't fit that and you put it all back together, the door will do that, and it will also leak when it's in use, and then you'll get water all leaking out of the handle, you'll get water in the electronics, you can do a lot of damage. So very important to make sure that goes back in. Alright, so all the multi-plugs off. Easiest way to do it, because these are all keyed, you can't muck it up. Alright, that's the unit there itself. So what I'm just going to show you is how to take that handle out. It's very important. These handles break, it's very common, and the door doesn't open. So I've shown you how to open the door previously. So first things first, there's this little spring just in here. So just take that out so you don't lose it. And there it is there, really tiny little spring, so don't lose that. Doesn't matter today because I'm throwing the dishwasher out. The other thing that we're going to take off is just in there, you can see the little plastic tag. That's what holds the handle in. So it's important just to try and bend that out of the way and pull the handle to the left. So you've got to try and bend that up a little bit and pull the handle to the left. I haven't really got the right screwdriver for this. I need a little tiny flat bladed one. Just bear with me. That's not one either, but that'll do. We'll see how we go. And then the handle lifts out like so. And it's that part right there that snaps off, because you can imagine with the door shut, that's what's pushing down on the latch to allow you to open the door. So when that breaks off, it's not pushing down, so then you can't open the door. And you'll also get dotted lines on the display when you press start, and that means that basically there's something wrong with the handle. And of course, to get the electronic board out of these, then you find the right screwdriver, just click there and there, and I just put the screwdriver in there and click it out. That's the board. Now if you need to replace the decor strip, they generally just in here, you see a little tag, just pull it out the way, and that clicks off. So everything's replaceable. That's called a switch panel. Very common over the years, they get brittle and everything breaks on them. So you can replace them. There's a child lock there. To get those switches out, if you're replacing the switch panel, literally just bend those tags back. And that's the door micro switch. Okay. Next thing we're going to remove is this fan assembly. Again, just to get the vent off, I'll just knock it down like that. To take the fan out, I just loosen these screws. Just loosen them like that, and then I get a screwdriver as a lever. Close that dispenser up. Put it like that. So use the screws as leverage and just do that. There's the fan. Now about every 7 years or so you'll have to replace this, what they call a wax motor. These burn internally, and when these burn out internally, they short, but the thing it takes out is the electronic board. So if you ever replace your electronic board, you must replace the wax motor. Alright, next thing I'm going to take off is the door, which would be how you would replace the lower door sill, which I've shown you in a previous video, but I'll do it again. Now don't forget these edges are razor sharp. So first thing we'll do is take the door springs off. So you just literally pull it towards you and lever it off. There's one on each side. And then the door's quite free to lift down. So again, take the screws out for the hinge. If I can find the right screwdriver. Just undo the hinge. Two screws each side. You can wear gloves to try and do this, but I find I can't feel properly with the gloves, so I just do it without them. But if you do slip on this edge, it's not going to end well. So, door up, hinges off, carefully lift it, and just pull it, and that's the door seal. And again, I've shown you in the past how to do the door seal, so I'm not going to do that one again. Alright, so next thing, if you want to take your spray arms off to clean them, they literally just pull off like that. And you can twist and they come off so you can clean inside there, things like that. Top one, same thing, just pulls off and unclicks. Again, very easy. Now, what I'm going to do now is just tip it back. So, just going to take this kicker off from underneath. Alright, so if you just come and have a look in here, somebody asked me on YouTube, how do you take the flood switch out? Because it's, as you can see, it's right down in here. If you can get in there close, it's very hard to see, but it's right down in there. So I found the easiest way is there's a little, it's hard to see, but there's a little plastic lever that you push to the left. And in doing that, I grab the wires generally and try and pull it out. If that doesn't work, I try and put the screwdriver in between the two wiring plugs and I pull it up and it just popped out then. And that is the flood switch. So you get an F10 fault, that means that this switch is activated, most likely because there's water in the flood pan. Now if this switch gets wet, one, you'll smell it because it'll smell like it's burning, and you'll get the F10 even without water in the flood pan. Generally, it won't get wet because of where it's sitting, but if it does get wet, you've got to find out why did it get wet. Now, another mistake I've seen someone do, you can see the multi-plugs are situated like that. Somebody replaced this flood switch and they put the big one on the bottom and the small one on the top. Put it all back together, and then the dishwasher faulted, wouldn't fill with any water. And they changed the inlet valve, electronic board, everything, and it's because they put these multi-plugs around the wrong way, just reverse them. So if you ever do that, one of the technicians I was working with years ago did that, and it was taken back to the workshop, and the technician in the workshop saw that and said he's put it around the wrong way, and when we put it back, it worked perfectly. So that's a good one to be wary of. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just set it back up. Now on the side here, this little plastic container is called an air brake. I saw a video of someone changing an inlet valve and it said to take the air brake out to change the valve. You never ever do that because you can cause leaks and all sorts of problems. So what I'm going to do is take the valve out so I can remove the air brake, just to show you how to replace the air brake. So first thing I do is just get the motor out of the way. Just push it to the side. Take the multi-plug off the valve, lay it to one side. And again, as I showed previously, put a screwdriver in, if I can find it, and lever it that way. Click, done. Valve is out. And again, with these little plastic clips, someone said, oh, wouldn't these clips break? If you're replacing an inlet valve, it comes with a new O-ring and a new plastic clip. I can't recall ever breaking one, but if you do, it comes in the kit anyway. Alright, so that's the air brake that we want to take out. Now the reason you've got to replace air brakes on these current dishwashers is because people put them on a hot water connection that's too hot, and it what we call pops the air brake. Internally it damages it, and water floods into the bottom pan, and you'll get an F10 fault. So first thing, there's a little screw there just to hold the air brake. Then the next thing we do is on the inside, get a pair of pliers like so. I just open them up, and if you come in here, I'll put in there and there, and I twist like that, and that unlocks the air brake. It's just a click fit. Now, so that air brake is loose, but of course you need to be able to get this from that to get it out. So on the inside of the dishwasher are screws, 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because we're taking the air brake out, we just take those 2 out. So I've got to find the screwdriver to fit those. It's not that one. I might have to go and find my other tools to find that.